Hey there, hi there, ho there. Welcome once again to another thrilling episode of Disney Compendium, Volume 26. I am your host.
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah. I had to look in my corner, my screen here, and like, yep, 26. That's it. As usual, I am your host, JJ, and over there, speaking in the crazy falsetto just a second ago, is my good friend Nick. Nick, how you doing?
Pretty good, JJ. Glad to be in
Okay,
here. Episode 20.
okay,
Oh, it's
okay.
whatever.
Yeah, okay, you can start
Yeah,
now.
so yeah, we made it to episode 26.
Yeah,
We're gonna be talking about Sherlock, and I think like the hiatus kind of usually it hurts it, but yeah.
I told you we were watching the Will Ferrell Sherlock that
Oh,
just came out.
I know you did, and I still didn't do it.
Or we watched The Great Mouse Detective.
Oh, okay, yeah, that I did watch.
Or uh or if you're anywhere else but North America, it's Basil, the Great Mouse Detective is the actual title of this movie, but there's a story behind that we'll get to later. But yeah, Great Mouse Detective, an adaptation of the a book series of the same name. Well, Basil of Baker Street, not the same name, but same character names.
It's Sherlock
July,
Holmes.
yeah, Sherlock Holmes. He lives below Sherlock Holmes. So um, July 2nd, 1986 is when this one came out. So a year after the absolute devastating failure that was the Black Cauldron. So uh, everything was resting on this movie's shoulders. If this movie was a success, we would uh, keep chugging forward. If this movie was a failure, probably not have a Disney cartoon again for potentially ever, but probably not. Probably several years and reared its head.
Disney would have become a Viacom subsidiary.
That was the one thing that everyone was very happy about with Michael Eisner, is that he was able to fend off a Viacom acquisition at one point. So
Uh,
so yeah,
Good
this
movie.
is a very good movie.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, it's Sherlock Holmes. I mean, there's no way around it. I mean, it's
He's
Sherlock
got the
Holmes's dog is a main character in this movie.
Toby. Yeah, and I mean he's got the deer stalker. He plays the violin. He has a
Yeah.
cocaine problem. It's all there, friends.
Yes. 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 This is, as I texted Nick last night, and I said this is probably the most movie to most accurately depict Sherlock Holmes's crippling cocaine addiction than any other adaptation of this franchise ever, because he never stops moving. The only the only time he stops moving is when he's crashing hard and becoming totally depressed. So
or when he's physically tied to a mouse trap.
yeah, and even then he's so defeated that he's just so depressed that he's come down so hard that. But yeah, so uh, I guess we could just start off with where the plot wise what this movie is going for. Um,
Uh, yeah,
we meet the toy maker, who is voiced by Alan Young, who we all know
is
is
not trying
Scrooge
to do
McDuck.
another voice.
Not try, yeah, is Scrooge McDuck. That was literally the only reason he was cast in this role, is because he had a really good, because his default voice is Scottish, and they wanted a Scottish voice for that character. So here we go.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
DuckTales was probably about to go to production anyway, wasn't it, at this time?
86, yeah, getting
Yeah.
there. I mean, he had already been in Christmas Carol,
Yeah,
so
so
so yeah, he's already established studio. So this is like one of his first major roles for the company. So he would go on to make a career of doing no other voice for 30 years other than Scrooge McDuck, this movie included. Uh, if somebody was just watching this and you heard the character in the other room, you would say, like, "Oh, they're watching DuckTales or
Are they
something."
watching DuckTales?
Yeah, because he doesn't change it in any way, shape, or
I mean, if you almost watch this movie and think, when's he gonna talk about his lucky dime? When's he gonna say "bless my bagpipes"?
yeah, yeah. Where's Gizmo Duck?
Where's Gizmo? Blathering Blattiscite.
Yeah.
I technically Gizmo Duck's kind of in this thing in a
I
way.
in a roundabout kind of way, yes. That's much later in the movie.
Yeah.
But I mean, so he's like a toy maker who can make toys that clearly defy any and all physics. That that flower doll thing that he presents to Olivia,
Mm-hmm.
like there's no way that can exist in any sort of reality.
Yeah.
It
He's
like
like,
it like gently flows open and folds out into a doll that can dance and then fold back up, and it's just like you're a sorcerer. It's
yeah.
what you are. You belong in last week's movie.
And you wonder why a madman would kidnap you and use you for nefarious means when you're like, I'm just gonna make some toys.
What's his? I forget it. I know it's Flaversham, but I always forget his first name because
I
it's
don't
like it's like
maybe,
Hiram
but she just, but
Hiram Flaversham, I think, or
I think
something.
so. But she keeps calling him Papa, so
Yeah, that's the problem is that they say the name once or twice and then it's Papa for the rest of the movie because Olivia. So a peg-legged bat with a crippled wing breaks into the workshop and kidnaps him.
yeah. And you think like, is he going to murder this old man in front of his
It's
child?
yeah, it's the way it's framed. It looks like a murder is occurring. So uh, so Olivia is now looking for the great mouse detective. Uh, knows he has to go to Baker Street to get um, Basil. So
And when they get to Baker Street, you just hear
good job.
You're welcome.
Uh,
That was
but
good.
yeah, she gets lost. It's very sad. But then we're introduced to Watson. No, it's not Watson. It's Dawson. But
Well,
that's who this character is.
he's basically Watson.
Yeah. Even in the books, it is like this character is based off of Sherlock Holmes, and this character is based off of Watson. Like, except like, Watson was like a biographer for Sherlock that was also just sort of like his helping hand or what, you know what I mean? Like, but uh, yeah, he he's coming back from the war.
Even though he's clearly 60.
Yeah,
And also, what war?
yeah. See, this movie posits an insane reality where in our timeline that we have that involves the Robin Hood timeline that we call it. I don't know where this one falls because humans and animals are both cognizant and like you know what I mean, but they both but they live separate worlds. Like yet somehow the mice have a monarchy.
Yes, they have a monarchy and like
And
mice with like skills to invent.
yeah, like but like history seems to fall within like because their queen lives in the same, you know, it lives at Buckingham Palace with the human queen, and it
Yeah,
just so happens that it's a queen as well. Kind of thing.
I you start piecing, and I mean Basil lives right underneath Sherlock Holmes's house,
Yeah, yeah.
so it's like this is before the fall, JD. This is right before the fall.
They're learning uh, how humans live, and they're
Yes.
taking on their like he's not really a detective. He's just like a parrot mimicking being a detective,
Yes.
and look what's happened. He's become a real detective out of it.
Skynet has become self-aware.
Yeah. So, um, So yeah, Dawson is returning from uh, the war. He's been in Afghanistan. Like that's literally his backstory.
Yep. And
Uh,
not like Zero Dark 30
yeah,
Afghanistan.
yeah. Like so, like this is 1897. So back from he was a war surgeon returning back to jolly old England. Uh,
Much like John Watson was, yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like somehow they're living these weird parallel lives. Like a rift has happened somewhere, and they're just living copacetically with the
But
same lives.
only mice. There's only mice parallels.
Yeah, somehow only mice. Which begs the question: does this take place in the Rescuers universe? I mean, they live in a universe where they have their UN meetings at the UN
I
underground.
mean, I guess so because, but this is like what probably
This is
because
1897. This would be
1887.
1897.
So this is like a good uh,
So this is a prequel to the
almost 80
Rescuers.
years.
Yeah,
80 years for Rescuers.
this is a prequel to the Rescuers.
So
So
it's right before the fall, but not like right before.
yeah, yeah, it is setting the groundwork for humans to be completely wiped out by within 100 years. So,
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, so um, what's Dawson's like? What is he just? He's just a drifter now. Like
I,
he seems to get sidetracked instantly. You never have any idea what like his real plan is coming back home. So
I yeah, he never like goes, I have planned to do this thing after you help me. Like, no,
yeah, like well, I
no.
was trying to get back to my wife and kids. I'm an old man who has a family, but nope. Just all right. Well, this is. Oh, I found a little girl. I gotta help her, and then a whirlwind of adventure happens.
Yes.
So when they get to Basil's house or whatever, technically Sherlock's house um, or apartment, I guess.
Basil's
uh,
hole.
Basil's hole. Um, they he's not there. I absolutely love the scene where you're introduced to Basil, where he a madman breaks into the house wielding a gun, waving a gun around.
It's some weird kabuki looking.
Yeah, some sort of like super offensive Asian uh, like
Yeah.
costume, and then you John Woo Mission Impossible 2 style like mask off.
He throws his sunglasses off the cliff and they explode.
It's revealed that this crazy man is Basil in disguise. So um,
Basil in disguise.
so he is sort of it's unclear if he's even paying attention to the fact that these people are there because he is on a coked up rampage because he has a bullet that he needs to investigate.
He needs to fire it to a pillow immediately.
So you get it. He fires it to the pillow. He gets the bullet and he puts it under the microscope and he's lining up the striations to prove that the bullet from another case is the same bullet from this gun. And then mostly syncs up until the very last spot, and then there's no marks. So
He goes,
like,
look at the striations.
so so now he just gets immediately thrown into a depression because he didn't solve the case.
And then Dawson mentions Olivia's problem.
Yeah.
Describes Fidget,
Yep.
who's the scary ass bat.
And then he's back up again, like
That's like,
excited.
yeah.
Yeah. So, um,
Basil's manic, JJ.
yes, yes. Um, so we basically find out at this point that the reason why Fidget is the henchman for Radigan, which is a character we haven't met yet, but we're about to, uh, uh, that he's been kidnapped to create a clockwork robot.
To pose as a
um,
queen.
to pose as the queen. It's a very elaborate plan um, that will only work on idiots. Good news, though, mice are idiots, I
My
guess.
sure it is.
Yeah.
Well,
So
before this, we get a Basil's explaining like his, he's like, oh, I've been chasing Ratigan forever, and it pans over to this really nice oil painting of Ratigan on Basil's wall.
yeah,
Like,
like
why do you have that? Why is it in a frame?
does Sherlock does Sherlock Holmes have a framed portrait of
Of Moriarty?
Moriarty hanging above his fireplace or
Probably
something?
not. I
But
don't think it
but
does.
but also, I, I, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean,
So, like, I mean,
so yeah,
but he has like a nice oval frame. Like, oh, Ratigan.
yeah. It'd be one thing if it was just like like you pasted a picture of him to the wall, so you would so you have like strings and darts sticking out of his face or
Yeah,
something.
or you
But
put it up
but
in your
no,
mirror and you
but
crumple it before you go trading.
yeah. So yeah, exactly. But no, it's like he picked that frame out. Like it's
This is going to be a nice frame for my arch nemesis.
yeah, yeah, it's yeah. Another
I need to get,
time, another place, they would have been together. Or
yeah.
something.
It's like I want to just have an arch nemesis. Like, man, I hate this guy. I need to head to Michael's and get to make sure.
A nice gilded frame.
Nice gilded frame
Yeah.
to contain my hatred, but I want to look nice.
Like he's getting the X-Acto knife out so he can round off the edges so it will
He's
fit in the frame perfectly.
muttering himself. Friggin' hate this guy.
Hate
Oh,
this guy so
crap.
that he
Hate him
finally
so much. Oh, I
yeah
wrinkled it. Oh, no.
yeah oh no. But yeah, so uh, boy, what a weird plot.
Yep.
Make a robot, make a toy of the queen so he can rule the British mice. Like it's not like
Yeah.
it says supreme ruler of all mousedom, but like no, just these mice,
Just England.
just England. Like Australia's got their own problems. Yeah, yeah,
Which will be solved by the rescuers.
yeah, and uh, and Fievel is doing his own thing. So it's not Disney, but it's real. It's all related.
It's mice. Cartoon
It's
mice are
nice.
all the same.
Yeah, they all look the same.
I don't see mice color, JJ. They're all the same. Did
Oh,
we meet Ratigan?
yeah, we finally meet Ratigan, who is a rat
Yes.
who is very offended by being called a rat.
Yeah.
He murders a mouse, a
Henchman.
drunk mouse henchman that calls him a rat in his drunkenness.
He murders him by sicking his cat on them.
Yes, he has a little bell. He rings the little bell, and here comes the mouse, and then the mouse or the cat then eats the mouse. So, yeah,
Ratigan, voiced by Vincent Price,
Vincent Price just
which
absolutely killing it in this role.
the
It
13 Gears Scooby Doo.
it is he is the best character in this movie. He is hamming it up. He sings two songs in this movie.
He sings before he kills his henchman. He sings a song and encourages his henchmen to sing.
Yeah.
Uh,
And then
we
towards the end, he records a record that plays that is designed to kill
yes.
Bastards. It's crazy. This character is so good.
So
It's probably one of Disney's most entertaining villains. Period.
JJ, did one of Radigan's henchmen look familiar to you?
Mm, no, Nick. Why?
Bill
Oh, really?
from Alice in Wonderland. Take a look at one of his henchmen.
Okay. Yep.
I'm not joking. It's
Yep.
Bill.
Yep. It absolutely is. Wow.
Yeah. So
You're right.
Bill, after getting shot out of the chimney,
Um, Vincent Price said because they wanted him for it, so they had him um, try out for the role. And he said If it was anyone other than Disney asking me to audition for a role, I would have been offended. So his exact words. So because it's absurd to have Vincent Price audition for
Like,
anything.
how Vincent Price sounds.
You know Vincent Price. You know what you're getting with Vincent Price.
Vincent
But
Price is a ham, and yeah. So
yeah, no. So yeah, that they nailed it with Radigan.
yeah,
They absolutely killed it here.
Radigan is pretty. I mean, he's a rat, granted, but I there's things in this cartoon that make me think if they drew inspiration later on for Rescue Rangers.
Because Radigan is vaguely fat cat-y.
Yes, and there's even like the dirigible later on.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
the yeah. Um, the build of Radigan was actually inspired by Ron Miller, the
Okay.
then CEO of Disney. When they started developing this pre-Eisner, Ron Miller would have been Walt's son-in-law. After Walt died, Ron Miller took over, and then after Ron Miller was outed, Eisner took over. But like because Ron Miller was like 6'5", big bulky former football player kind of guy, so he was thick and tall
Yes.
and intimidating, and so they kind of inspired his like it was like originally a wafy character, like a spindly, like a Vincent Price,
Mm-hmm.
but instead they eventually changed it because he's more intimidating when and he's a rat. I mean, it makes sense to make him physically so much different. He sort of reverts back into more rat-like, skinnier during the final confrontation.
With his clothes shred, yeah.
Yeah,
But
but
Radigan is what the kids call an absolute unit.
yes, he, he is. He is a thick lad,
Yeah.
and he is all about the theatrics of being a villain. It's great. He's yeah.
So they
So
head to the toy shop to look for clues.
look for clues, and so and there's really, I mean, the toy shop is just a nice little uh, uh, like side trip. Like not a whole lot happens at the toy shop other than they get the clues because Fidget just recently was stealing the uniforms off the dolls and stuff to look like
We get
the royal guards.
uh, well, we get this is where we get introduced to Toby here.
Oh yeah, yeah. Sherlock Holmes's dog Toby. Um, I like Toby. It's a good design. It's just a nice design.
As
But
soon as Toby shows up, you're like, "Up, we found the cat's downfall."
I love the part where no, the cat's downfall is something
Yeah,
completely different
yes,
out of left field, and it made me laugh out loud.
and, and pretty like you're like, oh, dang, that cat's dead.
Yeah, that cat is super dead and
you
super.
know, you know how
You're gonna need dental records for this cat.
it's how like we're like it's Cinderella, Lucifer dies. You're like, oh yeah, that cat, he's dead. That's crazy. And you're like, oh, this cat's even more dead.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Uh, Olivia gets kidnapped here, though.
Olivia does get kidnapped, which uh, dovetails into them trying to find her by going to uh, I, I, the sailors bar. What is this?
It's like a speakeasy almost.
Speakeasy, but like 1897 London. It's where all the criminals go
Yeah.
to heckle the performers, unless it's a pretty lady.
Yes. That octopus was doing a great job.
Yeah, I mean Dawson was loving it. He was he was into the
Dawson dressed like Smee, basically.
yeah yeah. I mean yeah, it's in Basil dressed as just every generic sailor man, just the same.
Yeah.
He's in a blue coat with a pencil thin mustache.
She's got the peacoat and the
Yeah,
turtleneck
yeah,
and the hat.
yeah. It's supposed
He pretty much looks like uh, Nemo from
yeah,
20,000 Leagues. He's got that
yeah,
look going on.
and that makes sense from a standpoint. Yeah, that was a big movie for Disney still.
Yeah.
So, um, but yeah, they're at that it's the Rat Trap. That's the name of the bar.
Yeah.
whatever tavern, speakeasy, whatever it is, the Rat Trap. Good name. Uh,
Yeah.
is it? I guess is it? It's implied that Radigan runs it.
Or is or he's just got connections.
Connections, but like it's called the Rat Trap, and they know who. And when they're you know asking around, they're willing to. I, I was gonna say murder them, but not really because they drugged it and it just turned Dawson into an idiot, like a drunk
Yeah.
idiot with just
Yeah.
double drunk.
They roofied him basically.
Yeah, they proved him.
But yeah, I guess like and then we get another number. You're like, is this mouse gonna strip on stage? And
Yeah,
yep, it's a
yeah,
burlesque mouse.
it's a burlesque mask. Yeah, yeah. Not not anything particularly graphic, but
No,
you know what's going on
yeah, you do.
as the adult in the room. You'll know it's like, oh, this is this is what we're
I'm
doing, huh?
tired.
Yeah,
It's Natalie
yeah,
Kahn.
yeah. It's just, you've got yeah, blazing saddles is about to happen here. So, but then they see Fidget in the tavern, so then they go off to track him. They're gonna follow him. Uh,
And a
it that
trap.
it does not. It goes pretty well. They see a bottle with
Yeah.
Olivia in it. Uh, Turns out it was Fidget dressed as Olivia, and it was a big trap.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
out,
mean,
yeah,
they
I
knew Basil was coming because Fidget mistakenly left the henchman checklist at the toy store.
yeah, with the stuff that he's supposed to collect. So, so uh, I loved Radigan's theatrics for this whole thing, where it's like treats it like a surprise party with confetti and streamers and a banner.
And he's just roasting Basil the whole time.
The whole time, just nonstop, just digging into him. Like,
You're my greatest arch enemy.
yeah, just can't keep a straight face. And just absolutely tears into him to the point where Basil just kind of gives up.
You just watch his ego shatter in front of you.
Yeah, so he captures him and locks him into a mousetrap with uh, there's so many great ways to kill you. I couldn't decide, so I chose all of them.
Yeah,
And so you have this Rube Goldberg machine of just murder
basically, like
that
you have like,
that revolves wholly behind a record that he had pressed of him singing a song, which which is a power move. That is a power move
yeah.
because you don't just get that record pressed. Like he's been planning that record.
I mean, Bond villains, they'll throw Bond to a trap and leave the room, and yeah, it'll
Yeah,
be elaborate, but they don't like record it up. They don't drop a joint
yeah,
before they do it.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, here's my mixtape, and
yeah,
yeah,
Baron
so yeah,
Samadi's not like, okay, Mr. Bond, before you go,
yeah. So
here's my
uh,
SoundCloud.
and absolutely so they're locked into a mousetrap.
Right?
When the record arm gets to the end, it's gonna set off the whole trap,
The ball bearing
which involves a
balls.
ball bearing goes down one of those little wire things. And, I forget exactly the layout of the Rube Goldberg. But I just remember
It's
it was supposed to like activate the trap, activate a, like a uh, crossbow, a gun, uh,
an an
and
axe and an
an axe
anvil.
and an anvil. Yeah. Um,
And also, he had a camera rigged up so he can catch the moment.
yeah. So when it all happened, the camera at the end of the whole thing, the camera would go off so he would get their corpses. Well, technically not because it would be underneath an anvil, so it would just be an anvil resting on the ground. Is what you're getting a picture of.
Yeah, like he thought out everything else to excruciating detail, but eh,
But so Olivia is in the bottle still, and uh, Basil is just absolutely depressed, given up, and Dawson is just trying to figure out because uh, Radigan mentioned it's like, well, we've got to go to uh,
Buckingham Palace.
Buckingham Palace, exactly. So he's trying to figure out on his deathbed, like, what could he mean by that? That's when they figure out exactly, like, oh, he's trying to topple the monarchy here. Um, it's like, what was the exact word phrasing of it? Like, why don't we just finish it now? Or like,
Why don't we just set up the trap now?
yeah, because the record was skipping at
Yeah.
one point, so it bought them time technically. But then Dawson got angry and yelled, and it made the record skip ahead.
Well,
And
yeah,
so,
because Basil's just laying there feeling sorry for himself.
yeah, yeah,
And Watts is like, hey!
yeah, and then yeah, so the record skips ahead. They were stuck in a loop, but then then just by getting angry at Basil sets the record in motion further. And so he's like, why don't we activate it now? It springs that switch, that flips that switch in Basil's head. Uh, that some of the coke that was just sort of laying dormant in his, his body.
He does some complicated math in his head.
Yeah, he starts
adjust for wind trajectory.
Yeah, the average of two sides of an isosceles triangle kind of nonsense. And so that he spring the trap. So the ball bearing comes down. He says, "When I tell you to activate the mouse trap, we need to activate it as I say it." So, and it is the ball bearing comes down. He says, "Go." The mouse trap comes up, smashes the ball bearing. So it gives them an opportunity to get out of there. So the axe can come down in between the two of them,
cut the trap in half.
Cut the trap in half. The anvil comes down. The gun shoots to break the bottle, and then the coup de grace of the whole thing. They pose for the photo.
Yeah,
it's like smile, and then the photo. That gave me a genuine laugh.
Yeah, that was funny.
I was like, that was a good scene. That whole situation, that grab them both for a group hug, and then like smile. Let's picture.
It's like the first part of the movie where you see, oh, Basil's kind of a human, or well, he's not
I would
human.
Yeah. I would have liked to. I would have loved for him to give that picture to Radigan.
Yeah,
but,
and I wanted some more out of Basil and Olivia's relationship, but it just
yeah,
that was about as close as we got.
Yeah. So, this is where you get the whole that now you have the plot breaking out.
Yeah.
Like the actual plot's taking place now. They're at Buckingham Palace. They bring the present into the Queen as the guys are disguised as her guards. Queen, dumb as a stick, doesn't recognize that this isn't a mouse. It's a bat. It is a crippled bat in a royal guard outfit, but whatever.
She says she picks up her eyeglass and goes, "Have you been with us long?"
Yeah.
Like, no, he's a bat.
Yeah, you wouldn't have hired a bat. You all know who Radigan is. Like, everyone's fully aware of who Radigan is. And if you knew that, you would know that Fidget is his right-hand man. But no. No way. No way at all did she figure that out. Oh, we didn't talk about the scene where Radigan tries to kill Fidget because he failed him.
Oh yeah, he tries to feed him to his cat.
Yeah, well, it doesn't try to.
He does.
That cat eats it, but then then he realizes the use he can have for Fidget. So
we should also mention, like, they kidnapped Olivia to get her to pressure her father into continuing his work, because he was like, I don't care what you do to me, I'm not going to do this. And then they're like, well, we have your daughter, and that's kind of
so you have to finish it. You need motivation. So here's your motivation. So they unveil the mouse, the Queen robot that has a voice modulator that you talk into, and it lets you sound like the Queen, kind of.
A voice modulator.
Yeah. and so the whole plan unravels of or unfolds of here's the queen out there.
Yep. Our janky robotic queen.
Yeah, who's again, it's very clearly not her voice. Uh, Somehow it's a microphone that they're talking into, but
It's
it comes out kind of broken robot-y, which is kind
yeah,
of
but
weird.
it sounds like the queen.
Yeah, but
Like, hello, this
like
is Mr. McAllister, the father.
yeah,
It's got talk away in it, JJ.
it does. Um, so it's funny to see this thing unfold. So she like, okay, so I'm giving all of this power to my defense secretary or whatever, Radigan, uh,
Yeah.
and the crowd,
Emissary or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, the crowd goes hostile.
Radigan comes out with all these like
Fake,
medals he just made for himself.
yeah, yeah, just yeah, just all kinds of flair. Uh, so he's got they're probably all just pins that he got from Mouse Disneyland. Uh, so um, yeah, so he's doing his whole thing, and finally, uh, the queen starts talking sensibly, like actually no, this isn't this isn't what's happening. He doesn't have any power, none of it. And you cut backstage, and um, Basil and crew have taken the people that were controlling the robot and got them held hostage now, and Basil is controlling the robot talking. And then that's when all hell breaks loose. Just fights, 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 fights.
We get Toby chasing the end of the cat.
Yeah. Oh, what's the cat's name? I forget the cat's Felicia.
I think so.
Yeah, Felicia. It's like
Yeah.
Felicia Hardy, the
Yeah.
the black cat. Uh,
Yep.
uh, but she's white in this, so it's but yeah. So this is the gruesome death. That's like, oh, that's a dead cat. So the cat thinks it got away from Toby at the end. It's on a wall, jumps
Taunting
down,
him.
taunting him, jumps down from the wall. The camera slowly pans down to a sign that says like Royal Dog Guards as the cat just starts howling,
Yeah.
essentially in agony. Yeah, it was killed by a pack of highly trained dogs,
Yeah.
murder dogs. Uh, so
They don't leave. The cat doesn't come back. It's like a Tom and Jerry
yeah,
situation where the cat just really messed up. Nope.
oh yeah, it's not like
Oh.
yeah, it's not like the Looney Tunes thing where it's like Daffy was shot in the face, but it's just black soot.
Yeah.
It's no that there's no surviving that. That is a dead cat, never
Yes.
to be seen again.
A cat crashed into the Sea Japan, spun in. There were no survivors.
Um, so he escapes on his dirigible,
Yeah.
and so they Basil and crew make their own weird balloon thing using a Union Jack and some balloons and some a matchbox and stuff. So
Yeah. And pretty quick. Well, I mean, they do
just
have Lancashire with them, so
it's a real MacGyver situation
yeah.
going on here, um, where
Just so you get
they
the Hail Britannia kick
yeah
in.
yeah just they needed a way. This is like the first time where like the Union Jack really appears in it to really hammer home the fact. Oh yeah, that's right. That's where we're at. So this is where you get the scenic tour of London. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like they're flying over every sort of key visual of England. So
It would have been kind of we're kind of interested to see like a Peter Pan Easter egg here.
yeah,
Like to see him like
yeah. Just you could have seen some pixie dust off in the corner or
yeah,
something. Yeah, the
like have him
darling.
fly like have his silhouette go across the moon.
Yeah, have some
And
or just like but make it very clear that that's the Darling household or something
yeah.
on there, something. But so yeah, during the whole chase and everything, it ends up leading to them crashing into Big Ben.
This is where we get some CG.
This is CG. All of these they crash into there, and all of these gears that they're surrounded by are moving, and all of these gears are computer generated.
Yeah.
The first major use of computer generation. Uh, like we said last week, the cauldron was CG, but that was made after this stuff was being done. So the thing about this is, there's two fun stories about this. In order to do this, Disney actually got the privilege to actually go into Big Ben
Oh
and
wow.
see some of that stuff. It's not something you usually get to do. But they were only able to be there for about an hour because the bells go off. Can't.
Like be here at 12, be
Yeah.
gone at 12:59.
The gears and all of that is an homage to one of my favorite animated films of all time, the Castle of Cagliostro.
Okay.
Hayao Miyazaki's first film. Anyone who knows that's Studio Ghibli, Princess Mononoke, My Neighbor Totoro, Spirited Away, Nausicaa, all of that. Like, this first film was a Lupin the Third movie called The Castle of Cagliostro, and the climax of that movie involves them fighting and off top these gears. And if you see that scene next to this one, they're almost identical.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. I
it's
should check that out.
yeah, yeah. So and it is an homage to that. It's very interesting to see that, like, that movie came out before this one. Obviously, that's how you can homage it. But it's very interesting to see, like, at this point in history, very few people have seen like that movie. I don't think that movie came out stateside in theaters at all until like the early 2000s. So
You'd have to seek it out to know that
yeah,
scene
you
was
had
there.
to you had to have known that. Got the VHS of it from Japan or something. You would have to have seen it some other way, because it never got a major theatrical release here. So, and at the time, I think Totoro would have been out by now, which is Miyazaki's sort of like real, like, now he's doing Disney, like,
Yeah.
so. So yeah, that was exciting to see. It's been a long time since I've seen this movie, and I saw that scene. I was like, is is that Lupin?
Yeah.
And so immediately I have to check it out. And I was like, yeah, no, it's well recognized, which also makes some of the other scenes in this potentially like some of the, like, because Lupin is known for his costumes, just like some of the other stuff. And so, like, the sailor stuff and things like that. It's like, there's a potential of that being homage too.
Yeah. I
But
yeah, I kind of want to see that out now.
oh yeah, it's one of my absolute favorite animated films. Highly
Um,
recommend it. It's can't not that there'll be the Miyazaki Compendium volume one.
that's
Yeah,
I don't know that I would be your host for that one. I'd
there
have
are,
to do a lot of.
you have to. Well, it's not like he's got a ton of movies. You
No,
can
I know.
be easy, and they're all good. You'd enjoy it.
I probably would. I will tell you that my nerdy thing in the scene, like, I immediately heard the Dracula's Curse music when I saw this clock. Oh no! Count those Medusa heads, those friggin' bats.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so yeah, we're at the end game
Yeah.
now. Uh, they're having the big fight. Radigan gets his cape stuck in gears and
Yeah.
some of his clockwork stuff.
And so you
Uh,
think, oh, that's how he goes. Nah.
no, not yet. Um, like, it wouldn't be until years later where you get with the Incredibles, where it's like no capes, uh,
Yeah.
uh, or I guess the Watchmen as well.
Yeah.
He got his cape stuck in the revolving door and they gunned him down. But yeah, no. So he gets caught in some gears and uh, just gets torn to shreds. His clothes get destroyed,
And
and this
now
is
he
where
looks like a big,
now he
disgusting
looks.
rat.
Yeah, now he looks rat-like. It kind of makes him a little more slender in appearance. He's got his claws out now, and he is like really messing up Basil.
Yeah.
He is not holding. Like, he is cutting him and slicing at him and just really getting into him. Um, the clock strikes 10,
Uh,
um, and
he throws Basil off of Big Ben.
yeah, yeah. What happens next? It was
He
Radigan
falls
falls, and then
to the rescue rangers balloon.
yeah,
He goes back up.
yeah. Then and then he like breaks off like the propeller of the balloon.
Oh yeah, and then they both tumble to their
They both
supposed
tumbled
death,
to their deaths. So Radigan
which,
falls.
which is kind of like an homage to Holmes and Moriarty at Reichenbach Falls. They both die. Is that the one?
Yes,
Okay.
I believe so. Don't hold me to that either, people. But I'm terrible remembering. I remember. Oh, I remember. I know. I remember exactly that. What the titles of any of these things are always.
But
but
I
yeah,
think it's Reichenbach
yeah,
Falls.
yeah. But he's able to pedal himself back up, Basil, using the propeller from the dirigible to yay, he survived, and everyone's cheering. And then you get the like, oh, back at Baker Street, and it's they're looking, thinking about their adventures, or looking at the newspaper clippings of like,
Yeah,
the hero detective saves the day, saves the monarchy, essentially.
he
Uh,
gets knighted.
yeah, and then it's well, all right then, guess I better get going. Like, to where
To his family, he's neglected.
he's
Maybe.
neglecting this whole time. Yeah, it's like, I guess I'll go. Gotta go find somewhere to live. Basil, incapable of saying, "Why don't you stay with me?" Uh,
He's just like, all right, man, see ya.
so yeah. Uh, then a new client appears, and it's
A new challenger approaching.
yeah, a new challenger approaches, setting up the sequel we never get, uh, where she's like, "Oh, I need your help," and Basil's like, "Oh, yeah, well, you got me and my trusted associate Dawson, who I do all of my cases
Yeah.
with." So now it's Holmes and Watson, happily ever after. Um, Basil lying through his teeth, or he's actually never worked a case before.
Yeah. I'm
both
going
are
to go with the
both are
latter.
potential. Both are very potential. Uh, so he could be telling the truth, and that him solving the. Well, I mean, I guess technically, I mean, if he's been following Radigan all this time, that's probably the only thing he's ever focused on. So
Yeah. He's like,
yeah,
well, I got to focus my energy somewhere else now.
yeah. So here we go. Now they're just detectives, and I'm assuming if a sequel happened, Radigan didn't die. It's gonna be like Moriarty or something, where it's just like,
Like he fell off Big Ben and he's a rat.
yeah, yeah. Well, did he did he reach terminal velocity? I don't know.
He comes back, but like he
Yeah,
has some of the gears and he rebuilds himself.
rebuilds himself with Fidget, saves him and rebuilds him using some gears.
Well, he
Uh,
throws Fidget off the dirigible. Fidget
and
dies,
yeah,
but
it's
like
like I can't fly as he spirals to the
you're
ground.
a bat,
He's got a crippled wing, so
but still,
yeah.
like
You don't really see his you don't really see his death, but yeah.
no.
Uh,
You see the water.
so yeah, that's a great Mouse Detective.
Yeah,
It's very
it's good.
simple. It's a very simple story, but it's a very effective story, and uh, very well made. Uh,
Yeah,
so Disney needed this. Um,
the audience needed this.
Audience needed this. The Black Cauldron was such a failure that they they cut the budget in half. It was originally had a $24 million budget, ended up having a $12 million budget at the end of the day. Um, and they and the release date was moved up to 1986. So it was supposed to be Christmas of '87, but they changed it to July of '86.
It's like we need a hit now.
So the budget was cut in half, and they moved the movie up, a year and a half. So no pressure.
So
Um,
based on all that, this movie should have failed.
this movie should have been an absolute disaster. The year before Young Sherlock Holmes came out and was an absolute disaster. Um,
And that movie was directed by Spielberg.
yeah.
So you think it's a surefire hit, right? No.
No. Um, so it's just one of those things. And this movie was like, they talked about making this movie during the Rescuers' time. So this movie dates back to around the Rescuers in terms of like being on the radar. But obviously it didn't happen because they just did the Rescuers, and it would have been basically the same movie.
It's like we're speaking a mouse adventure movie.
Mouse-based adventure set in a foreign land. So yeah, there was a couple of like, pitch it to Ron Miller, do some little like shorts to pitch it and whatever. Um, but Black Cauldron was falling apart to see, and then it failed. So it was like, oh. So yeah, you had to have something, anything to save it, because if this movie failed, as we said at the beginning of this episode, the studio would have been done. The animation studio would have been done. They've been having so many successes with live action stuff. Um, Eisner was he was in the decade of Disney mode, where they were going to start building theme parks all around the world and fixing up everything.
So his attention was diverted.
Yeah, so and he wasn't particularly interested in the cartoons department. You had Roy, who was in charge of that, and Katzenberg, who was Katzenberg, especially after the Black Cauldron stuff. Kind of hard to work with for the animators didn't like him, obviously,
Right.
because they weren't cartoonists. These people weren't cartoonists, and they didn't grow up as cartoonists. Eisner is just a studio CEO, Paramount.
They weren't even fans of the medium.
Yeah, Eisner came from Paramount, and Eisner's sort of philosophy was, cheap movies that, like, and lots of them kind of situation. So, and he had a lot of big hits, and would continue to have big hits even at Disney. He would continue to have big hits, whether it be TV or film, or not theme parks. That's for sure. But he was a decent enough a studio CEO. Like he wasn't he wasn't an idiot, but at the same time he also didn't understand the Disney culture, which at a time when in a couple of years from now, when the studio is doing the best it's ever been doing, uh, the other arm of that is the theme park stuff, and they're doing the worst they've ever been doing. So,
and that's where his attention is.
And that's where his attention is, but not at the theme parks, but at his theme park, Euro Disney and Tokyo Disney and things like that. But Euro Disney was his big pet project, and you know, and in the '80s, Epcot is getting ready to open up and stuff. So, um, and all of these are big failures because he doesn't. They don't have that bone in their body and don't understand it in the slightest. Just like with the cartoons, they don't really understand the cartoon side of it, and it shows. And a thing that shows with this was when Young Sherlock Holmes failed. That's when they renamed the movie from Basil of Baker Street to Great Mouse Detective, and his reasoning was Basil is too English.
Sherlock Holmes is from England.
Yeah. So the fun thing that goes with this is that an inter-office memo went around um, that was making fun of the whole thing, and it started giving the rest of Disney movies Eisner-style titles, which include Seven Little Men Help a Girl, the Wonderful Elephant Who Could Really Fly, The Little Deer Who Grew Up, The Girl with the See-Through Shoes, two dogs fall in love, puppies taken away, a boy, a bear, and a big black cat. And actually, they kept Aristocats the same. Which is just good joke.
I liked a boy, a bear, and a big black cat.
Yeah,
I would watch that show.
and those titles were would later become a category on Jeopardy. They would
Oh,
do so. Those questions, so those would be the questions you would name the movie based off of that thing. So they were not amused because that memo got out to the press, and so uh, a lot of people think that's where, on top of the Black Cauldron failing, that's also why they moved the movie up ahead and stuff as sort of punishment,
like, all
trying,
right,
trying to get this film to sort of fail essentially. So
but it
it didn't.
didn't.
Yeah, it did. It didn't. So it didn't at all. I read somewhere that Basil, when they first started designing the character, his original character design was going to be basically Bing Crosby,
Really? Okay.
which would have
Okay.
been, yeah, you think that. And it's like, I guess it ended up basing him on Leslie Howard, who you probably know best from Gone with the Wind. He was Ashley in Gone with the Wind.
Mm-hmm.
But like that's who he was based off of.
Yeah, because
Um,
they didn't base him off like his look off of uh, uh,
Basil Rathbone.
Basil Rathbone now,
Yeah.
because he had
No.
like a little, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So yeah. Originally the Big Ben fight was just going to take place outside of Big Ben, but the animator was like, "Wouldn't it be cool?" Or the layout artist was like, "Wouldn't it be cool if they went inside of Big Ben?" And then that's when you get like tours and it's like that is a good idea actually. So that's when you get like the tours of the Big Ben and the
And it
CG
was,
idea. Yeah,
yeah, it was.
it
It's a really cool
a very
scene.
becomes a very striking scene. It's probably the most memorable scene from the movie.
Yeah, I
Uh,
would say so.
yeah, it's very cool. And like I said, just straight rip off of another movie, but with the best of intentions. It was designed to just steal from the movie. It was designed to be like, when Disney takes something that's yours as sort of an homage to you, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Especially at this point in history, they aren't trying to be evil corporate entity Disney that you sort of see them as now, where it's like, no, this is ours. They're not trying to claim it as theirs. It's just like everything. What is it? Like mental real estate is sort of Disney's thing. Like they don't own mermaids, but like if you hear mermaid, you think of Ariel.
right.
They don't own a lot of the stuff that they have, but you hear certain things and they have the mental real estate for you. Uh, so and this is
It's.
it's the same sort of thing. Like with this, it's like that gear scene is now it's
I mean,
Disney.
I wonder if they use it as an excuse to kind of like to test out some like what can we do with CG?
Yeah, yeah, and I mean they recreated the scene really well.
Yeah, it's really like, and the thing is like you think like, oh, like 1986 CG is gonna look kind of like rough. Like
Yeah,
no, it actually looks really good.
yeah. It's when we say CG, if you've never seen the movie, which you absolutely should, um, we're not talking about like Tron,
No,
where it's like these weird three-dimensional gears that are like moving in a space that they've just sort of superimposed the characters onto or whatever. It's they basically what they do is each one of the gears was created with a wireframe and on a computer that they print out and then they paint over them appropriately. So they're computer generated in that sense. They created all of the gears using a computer.
right.
It's
It's
not.
like
Yeah,
it's a CG like everybody knows what the CG is in Beauty and the Beast. It
yeah,
looks like that. It looks
yeah,
like that. Yeah,
yeah. It's the
but
first real attempt at trying to be more efficient with animation.
right.
Not trying to do Toy Story, but trying to make cartoons that look two dimensional. Do it faster and more efficiently. And this is like the real first test of that. And just, they pulled it off. Um, so because it's a very striking scene, and it would have been probably a bear to have animated that by hand, like they did in the Castle of Cagliostro. Because that was, I think Castle of Cagliostro was, I have to look it up. I think it was the late 70s. Um, Castle of Cagliostro, 1979. So yeah. Speaking of that, the creator of Castle of Cagliostro, of Lupin the Third, recently passed away of Monkey Punch. So it's very ties in nicely in a way. Talk about it now, but yeah, 1979. So they had to do it by hand then. So.
But also means like the Disney animators, they'd probably like if you're chances are if you're an animator, you're probably also a fan of animation.
Yeah.
And so like yeah.
So a couple of interesting factoids to go with the music of this movie. Um, uh, it's uh, the debut of Henry Mancini for Disney,
Okay.
which is kind of interesting. Um, like did Pink Panther and stuff, but this is like his real, yeah. But at one point, Eisner was thinking about casting Michael Jackson in this movie,
I
just to be one of the characters in the tavern, uh, who would confront Basil, sing a song, and that would be like the extent of the character. Like,
did they start discussions with him before that, or
they would have already been
for
talking to him at
for
this
Captain
point.
EO?
Because he was already a Disney fan, and they would have been talking with him at this point. This would be 85. I think
Yeah.
Captain EO might. Captain EO already open?
86, I think. 87.
86? Yeah, so Captain EO's halfway there. so
So they already have discussions going on with him. So they could have perhaps pulled it off if they wanted to.
yeah, and they also wanted Madonna at one point to perform a song in this movie.
I'm
Again,
going to guess as the burlesque mouse.
yeah, it's one of those. Yeah, and let's see. Eisner later proposed for Madonna to perform a song. Eventually, Melissa Manchester was brought in, where she wrote and performed "Let Me Be Good to You." so, so yeah,
He very much wanted Breathless Mahoney.
yeah, exactly. So, so yeah, that would have been weird. It is 1985, so it would have been perfectly in place.
Yeah,
I mean, that to have happened in this time.
I guess, but like the pop, the sound of Michael Jackson and Madonna in a movie set in Victorian England, don't know that it would mesh
maybe,
well.
I mean, maybe Madonna. She does talk with that British accent.
Yeah. Born in Detroit, but did she find a British accent somewhere along the way?
Yeah. The short that played with this movie was Clock Cleaners, which is a personal favorite of mine. Disney Mickey Mouse cartoon.
Is that on the Blu-ray? Is it extra?
No.
Okay.
It's just I think only the big movies tend to get that kind of treatment. So, but
because
yeah,
it's on Blu-ray, but it's like JJ and I both bought it recently.
Yeah. I texted Nick the other day where I was at the mall because I had gone to my cabinet and I was like, okay, time to watch Great Mouse Detective. I'm like, I don't own Great Mouse Detective.
JJ and I both went to an FYE.
Yeah, we both got Great Mouse Detective. So,
but yeah,
it's one of those early ones where it's just the Blu-ray and the DVD. And it's got like 3 special features, and one of them is a sing-along.
Yeah.
So,
and it's not the digital Disney movie reward. It's the magical code.
Yeah, it's the Mystery in the Mist edition, which.
Oh, that's the version you have?
Yeah. The Mystery in the Mist edition.
That was a DVD version, but I just okay. Yours is Mystery in the Mist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's nice.
Oh,
it's a good.
it's Mystery in the Mist version because some stuff was taken out and re-added, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah, like the title card and something else.
yeah, yeah. I also bought the Black Hole when I bought this too. So
Another
I've
great movie.
I've also watched the Black Hole, and I kind of just want to sit there like we should do a Black Hole episode.
Just talk about old Bob.
That's the Black Hole rules, and you should also watch the Black Hole. You should watch this, like me. You should watch this and the Black Hole, preferably in the same weekend, because why not?
Also, I mean, hey, there's a lot of black hole buzz going on right now. So.
Yeah. I mean, black holes are so in right now. So why not watch the movie that didn't get an ounce of what a black hole is, right? But it doesn't matter. Uh,
It's still closer than Event Horizon.
um,
Don't watch that movie.
no. Ah,
I mean, yeah, watch it, but
watch it once if you haven't.
prep yourself.
Yeah,
Prep
be
yourself
prepared. Be prepared for Event Horizon. Um, when this movie came out, big success.
Yeah,
It was a great little movie. It got critically, like, Siskel and Ebert gave it 2 thumbs up. Siskel himself gave it 3.5 stars. Really applauded the animation of it. He says like Disney stuff's at its best when you know when they're using facial features and stuff to act. Um, he says his exact words were, "The Great Mouse Detective looks more fully animated than anything in some 30 years," which is a damning indictment of Disney.
yeah.
But it says like some reviews, like this one said this movie is cute, cute, cute. It's a higher grade cute than The Rescuers and The Fox and the Hound.
So this movie is so kawaii.
But yeah, massive success on a budget of 12 to $14 million, depending on what you're looking at. Um,
A
it's
movie that
yeah.
good.
So its overall gross is 50 million. So
Wow.
around like worldwide. So
A movie
success.
that pretty much kind of saved Disney as we know it, and it's overlooked.
Yeah, it's not even kind of. This movie absolutely saved the animation studio 100%. Its success let the people in charge realize that there is still value to this division. Um, the movie was renamed at a point.
The
When they
Adventures of the Great Mouse Detective.
yeah, when they re-released it in the 90s, it came out as The Adventures of the Great Mouse Detective for some reason.
It was
So
a rights thing, or
I doubt it because they didn't really change. It's still the Great Mouse Detective. It's not
huh.
like the books were named the Great Mouse Detective. They're called the Basil of Baker Street.
So I wonder why
So
they did that.
because it's Michael Eisner, I'm sure it was his fault.
Adventure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Adventure.
Listen, so here's, uh, you know how Splash Mountain got its name?
Because there's water.
No, they originally were going to call it, what was it? Zippity Doodah Falls was like
No, thank you.
I mean, it's a better in the sense though. The reason it's called Splash is because Michael Eisner said, "Hey, we have this movie called Splash coming out. You should try to brand it with that, and maybe include a Daryl Hannah animatronic in there." And
What?
and
What?
they were like, "No, okay, we'll call it Splash Mountain, but we're absolutely not including." So
What a
Splash
boob.
So Splash Mountain was named after a failed mermaid movie in the 80s.
I mean, I like the name Splash Mountain better than Zippity Doo Dah Falls because that just sounds like I don't know.
I know, but Zippity Doo Dah Falls also sounds very Disney.
Yeah.
It's like, it's, yeah. But, at the same time, that's ride is named after a terrible mermaid movie and and not the animated one, the live action terrible.
God.
Could you imagine how long would that animatronic have stayed in that ride?
Oh my God. So you just, because we're going to be going on Splash Mountain here in a few weeks. it was
Yeah,
like this janky rundown Daryl Hannah animatronic, like
singing zippity doo dah.
just chilling.
Yeah, I wonder where it would have been in the ride. It would have had to have been like during the big finale or something.
Just disappointed every time. Oh right.
Uh, I wish the fox did eat instead.
It's a thing where Brer Bear's just like, but it's just Daryl just hanging upside down.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Now I've turned around on it. Now that's
You,
how.
you turned a corner, just making
Yeah.
same
Just I,
voice,
yeah.
but just still Daryl.
Yeah. So yeah. So yeah. So it, that's probably how the movie gets renamed to The Adventures of the Great Mouse Detective. I'm trying to think of what would have been out in 1982 that had adventures in the title that made Michael Eisner
She's
say, like, yeah,
we didn't even have Adventures of Ford Fairlane,
yeah. So
Adventures of Buckaroo and Bonsai.
The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai across the Great Mouse Detective. uh,
I
yeah,
just like a guy who
and
just like put buzzwords in front of things, and
yeah, I mean, that's yeah. This is the guy who built a theme park in Paris without telling the Parisian people that that's what his plan was. Like, so
surprise. You have a
surprise,
theme.
surprise! You have a theme park. Oh, you don't want to go there? How could I have ever have guessed? How was I supposed to know you didn't want to go to our theme park? So
You should
yeah,
have told me.
you should have told me you didn't want a theme park. Uh, but it's like they were going to build a theme park in the Midwest or whatever, like Disney's America, that was going to be like American history themed, where it's like,
Mm.
yeah, and it was going to be one of those like, oh, here you can see the signing of the Declaration of Independence, and like here's some Benjamin Franklin stuff. Here's some Civil War barracks. You're like,
Mm.
I
So
don't
just
know
be,
if I,
just be
yeah,
Disney's America.
yeah, as people as that became a thing, everyone's like, nobody trusts Disney enough. This iteration of Disney, if it was to handle American history, they would have trusted Walt because they at least know what they're getting with Walt.
Yeah.
But they don't trust Michael Eisner as far as they could throw him. So yeah, so yeah, he made some bad
The
decisions.
Adventures of Jefferson Davis.
Yeah, yeah, no, it would never have. Yeah, it never would have worked. It never ever would have worked. But the in terms of legacy, no video game. There were costume characters. The funny thing about the costume characters at the theme park was, again, they were being punished for that memo. So there was they cut their like um, promotion budget behind, like in half or whatever. So Roy paid his own money to get costumes made for the theme parks.
Wow.
So the theme parks had Basil and Radigan. Um,
Just that's just a whole level of petty. Like this movie did well, or it's doing well.
yeah,
Like
but well, it was just it's Vince McMahon levels of petty. Uh, so
so Basil asked for his release, and they wouldn't give it to him.
yeah, so now he's just milling about backstage while just get using his employee discount, just sort of
Yeah,
milking the time clock. But
he's just Basil just kind of like, oh, he'll pop up in some house shows, but
yeah, I'm not gonna. I'll do some NXT stuff, but I'm not touring. I'm not going to Florida. Like, whatever.
I'm not going to Euro Disney. That's not going to happen.
I'm not doing the European tour. So just get that out of your mind right now.
Doesn't work for me, brother.
So, so yeah. Not like no legacy. This movie has no legacy other than the biggest legacy of all, where you saved the company.
Yeah, which is
uh,
enough.
enough.
Um,
The movie doesn't get the credit it deserves by from
no,
Disney itself, but anyone who knows anything about the history of the studio, anyone within the studio understands the importance of the Great Mouse Detective, even if it's far from their greatest showing, but it was exactly what the studio needed at the time. Um, and it would also serve a detriment in a way where it emboldened Michael Eisner's thoughts of less money in faster time. So you know
Production line with this.
so yeah, so you're not going to get the big budgets ever again, uh, like Black Cauldron did. That had a huge budget and was a massive failure. Whereas this one had a meager budget and you bumped up the release date by a year, and it's not wasn't a massive success, but it was a very big success, a big enough noticeable success based off of its $14 million budget. It made $50 million around the world. That's that's a fairly moderate success.
Right.
So
Did it have it? It didn't have a half meal tie-in. I researched the heck out of it. I don't think it did.
yeah, it didn't. Yeah, not a whole lot of like. Again, they out of a bit of pettiness, they slashed the promotion budget
Right.
like substantially. Like Roy had to pay to get costumes made out of his own money,
Yeah.
so there was no promotion. There was no, you know. I think there was something, or there was going to be a McDonald's something, but it
Maybe
didn't.
ornaments.
Yeah, there was something, but like it never panned out or something. So
I because the thing is, like you talk about how the promotion was kind of meager. I I was about 6, and I would have been the demographic for this movie, and I don't remember seeing a lot of commercials for it
yeah,
to the point
so
where I didn't beg my parents to take me to it because, like, you know, I didn't know what it was.
yeah, I mean, and they're how would you so
Yeah,
let's see. There's something. Let's see. I'm sorry to just drag it on to something, but there was something that I saw recently that said about the costumes, and I'm trying to find it again. So bear
yeah,
with me, people. We're just gonna
yeah.
vamp for a little bit while I type around on our computer and talk about the Great Mouse Detective. But
Yeah. Well, this came out around the same time as American Tail, right?
yes, yes,
Yeah.
very much so.
So it's
Um,
like you get that mouse thing
it
going.
would come. It would Great American Tail would come out, I think, 4 or 5 months later or
Yeah.
something.
So it's like
So and it made more money. So
maybe that led to the
there was a little bit more of like you made some good money. However,
final money.
not that five money. So
Yeah. And even like while you do that, like it's the version of the Blu-ray JJ and I have.
yeah,
It's pretty bare bones.
yeah,
Like it's like the very bare minimum of like special features.
yeah,
And so I feel like at some point, who knows with Disney Plus coming, that if they'll even make it a even more special edition of it. I don't know.
yeah. I'm thinking, but with Disney Plus coming out, what happens with special features? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
the cool thing, like yeah, the Criterion streaming service actually features special features from the movies. Um, so
some films like I know some films I purchase on with actually it was a Disney film. What was it? Oh, Mary Poppins Returns. I purchased that, and you redeem your digital code of Movies Anywhere. Those
yeah,
features are still in there. You can
yeah,
just look.
they give you the digital stuff
Yeah,
on Vudu tends to you get most of them. Sometimes you even get the commentary track, which
yeah.
is kind of nice, where it's just like a separate version of the situations. There's the digital version, so it's
So,
kind of
so there's a
interesting.
way to do it.
Yeah, just a matter if Disney would do it, because I mean, like look at like the WWE network, where it's like get like there's been special stuff that just you lose all of that stuff. You lose all the behind the scenes stuff that sometimes came with some of these things. So, but it is what it is what it is. Hopefully, hopefully people find it on there. Hopefully Disney, hopefully it does some sort of curation process. Like you know, promote some of the older things to have people watch them so they can maybe get a second life. I think this movie
Yeah.
could benefit from saying like, the movie that saved the movie that spurned the Disney Renaissance or something, something like that. So
I mean, and also if you don't want to wait for Disney Plus and you want to watch it now, it's like JJ and I literally picked it up yesterday.
yeah, I picked it up at FYE for $15.
So yeah,
So
$14.99. That's how much it
yeah,
costs.
yeah. There were
I think you.
there were two copies there. One of them had a price tag of $19.99. One of them had a price tag of $14.99, and it was the exact same movie. So I grabbed the one that said $14.99.
Uh, I think you can walk into yeah, like right. You can get it off of Best Buy's website. It's
Yeah,
$10. They sell it for $10 there. So
yeah. So it's cheap. Yeah, I'm sure you can go into half price books and have a good chance of finding it. So
and I mean, you could probably even get just a regular DVD copy even cheaper. And if you want to go that route, that's probably fine too.
so you ready to
Yeah,
you
let's.
ready to rank it, Nick?
Yes.
All right. I couldn't find the factoid that I read somewhere that was about um the the promotional budgets that they had.
Like Jay just texted me the costumes were all made of human hair. Disturbing but fascinating.
Well, I mean, you work with you take what you can work with, and there were a lot of cats at Disneyland. So
Oh,
okay, better or worse than Robin Hood, Nick?
it's not as good as Robin Hood now.
But Jungle Book,
It's worse than Jungle Book.
Sword in the Stone,
It's worse than Sword in the Stone.
The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh,
Worse than Winnie the Pooh.
Dumbo,
It's worse than Dumbo.
Fantasia,
Worse than Fantasia.
The Black Cauldron.
It is better than the Black Cauldron.
Better than The Black Cauldron. You have a new contender in the top 10. If my stupid computer. There we go. And
I'm okay with it being there because I actually really enjoyed it.
have you seen it before?
Um, I think I had, but I not enough where I remembered specific plot points until I watched. I'm like, oh right, that thing.
Yeah, it's a movie that a lot of people haven't seen. It's 1985, and in a couple of years you're going to get a massive hit. Uh,
A monster hit.
yeah, a monster hit that's going to spawn multiple more monster hits. So
We are slowly inching toward the Silver Age.
with the official terminology for the age we are officially entering technically next week, but really the week after is the Disney Renaissance. Um, see, sort of, it's the Silver Age. It's the Disney Renaissance.
Based on that, you could tell what we're talking about. Like,
Yeah,
think about this movie's 86. If you know your Disney at all,
yeah,
you know what we're about to come up on.
yep. Let's see. Jungle Book, don't like it as much as that. Fantasia, Pooh, Cinderella, Snow White, Robin Hood. Yeah, mine I'm gonna put above the Black Cauldron on mine as
Yeah.
well. So, I always forget what I want to call it in my little list. Because some of them are shorthand, some of them are the full
Just put
titles.
Mouse Detective.
Yeah. Um, so let's see. For you, it is your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 top
Okay.
seven. We're in
All right.
26 movies, and it's your top seven.
I'm okay with
One,
that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Damn it! My mouse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Top 8 for me.
Are you
So,
cool with that?
oh yeah, I knew full well that it was going to, by this stage, was going to be in my top 10. By this,
Mm-hmm.
in the in the pre-Renaissance era, I knew it was going to be a top 10 movie because I've always really enjoyed this movie. Um, it's probably
I
one of the earlier ones that I've seen because it came
it,
out as when I was a very young child.
yeah.
So
It's gonna have, by my estimate, it's gonna have maybe a short run in the top 10, or
yeah,
maybe, but it's not gonna be.
Yeah.
It's not going to be for very long.
No, no, no. But it's going to be there for a spell. So next week, and I know, I know you watched next week's movie already.
Yeah, I did.
Uh, it's a what year did the next week's movie come out? Do you remember?
80,
1988.
88, yeah.
Uh, no, fall 1988. Uh, a weird one for Disney. I still don't fully understand their thought process behind releasing an all animal adaptation of Oliver Twist. But here we are, Oliver and Company, next week. Um,
JJ and I will talk fondly about ornaments.
there certainly will be things fondly talked about,
And some things not fondly talking about,
but
which is where I'm like, Great Mouse Detective might be safer in a little bit.
next week has we are entering the era of celebrity voice actors that
Yes.
we recognize.
But we're also next week we're entering into the Howard Ashman era of
Yes,
music,
yes,
right?
we are. Um, so, but
This is like his dry run.
yeah, I don't know if it's because I think it's Jonathan Redford that was the composer of Oliver Twist. Um,
Okay.
but
I want to say, are you telling me Wikipedia was wrong, JJ?
I think he did one song in this. Yeah, so yeah,
Okay.
the dry run because I think he did the New York City song in this.
Okay.
So, but hey, the soundtrack. Oh boy, that soundtrack has is a it's filled with potential. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, you will. Ooh, okay, don't want to start talking about it too much right now.
No,
So
we do, but we don't.
we do. Once I hit stop on our little recording here, we're gonna be talking about it. So
Yeah.
so uh, so next week you get to hear uh, our well thought out, pre thought of opinions of Oliver and Company. But until then, thank you all again for joining us and have a magical day.
Bye.